Hey, Shalom. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah YAHAWAH, Barakatah YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the nation of Israel, better known as the Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the sincere Akim as well, who teach this doctrine correctly, in truth and in sincerity, throughout the four corners, and death to the two-thirds. Death to the two-thirds of the nation of Israel, man. Alright, so this is Ezekiel 33, starting at verse 7 to 9. And just to get to the point, it says, "So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." So, I'm still poking and prodding this topic a little bit, because it's not just a leave it alone type of topic, dealing with these watchmen for Israel. Now, the watchman, and Apostle Gabar brought this out, a watchman really is a prophet. A prophet and a watchman and a seer is all the same thing. This is 1 Samuel 9:9. "Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake." This is what they would say: "Come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer." Okay, so you're calling yourself a watchman or a seer. Basically, you're saying that you're a prophet, but in order to be a prophet, you need to be speaking of these things that are coming to pass, namely being the mark of the beast. Okay, let's go see the seer. Ra'ah, basically. See, look, provide, regard. That's the usage. Here's the definition. Literally or figuratively: advise, self, appear, approve, behold, consider, discern, have, look at this, have experience. Look at that, have experience. Regard, have respect, be near, perceive, have experience and perception, view, visions, sight of others, spy, stare. Look at that. So you're calling yourself a watchman for Israel, but you're not warning them of the mark of the beast properly. That's a big red flag right there. Okay, so now let's look up the word prophet. It's now called a prophet. Okay, so there's a biblical usage. Here's the definition: a prophet, or generally inspired man. Prophecy, that prophesy, prophet. So that's pretty plain and to the point. Okay, look at that. I have constituted. So in Exodus 7:1, it says, where the Most High says to Moses, "I have constituted thee as power to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet," i.e., in intercourse with Pharaoh, thou, as being the wiser and the one with whom the Most High communicated directly, shall act as it were the part of the Most High, and suggest words to thy brother, and thy brother, who is more fluent of speech, shall declare as a prophet what he receives from thee. Wow. So look at that. Same thing. Okay, so Moses was acting as he was the direct recipient, but for to have a speaker, because Aaron was a better speaker, Aaron was the prophet. You see, or the seer. He was being shown these things by Moses, and then Aaron would go and retell the tale. Okay, what was that? Yep. But his blood will I require at the hand. Yeah, and that's the point. That's really the point, just to be to the point. Okay, and same thing in Ezekiel 3:18. Um, yep. We'll start at verse 17. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel." You know what? Let's look up this word watchman while we're here, right? Because these are three different words. Okay, definition. See how it says definition here? The primitive root, properly, to lean forward, to peer into the distance. It looks like you're trying to see something, right? By implication, to observe, like a prophet, right? Or like a seer, await, behold, a spy. Now, if you remember, one of these definitions was exactly that. It was a spy. Matter of fact, it was the word seer. Seer is by definition, not the usage, by definition, spy. So before times, the watchmen, the seers would espy, they would behold. Okay, to wait for, keep the watchman, to shine, to be bright. Look at that. What does that sound like? Maybe there's a precept that's coming to mind. To shine, to be bright. Is that Matthew? The book of Matthew? Did I spell that wrong? Let's try a candle. Is it bushel? Matthew's, yep. Okay, yep. Matthew 5 and 15. Matter of fact, 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Sight of others, to shine, to espy. Okay. So this word watchman, to shine, to be bright, to look out, to view. So if you're not warning people properly, the blood is on your hands. This blood is going to be on your hands, what you see in your bottom right corner. Okay? It's going to be required at your hands because you're not warning the people properly. Okay? So when you call yourself a watchman, you are saying that you're a seer. You're saying that you're a prophet. So the first thing really, and even Paul said to covet the best things, or the best, covet, was it the best gifts? I think it's Corinthians, yep. 1 Corinthians 12 and 31, it says, but covet earnestly the best gifts. Okay? And yet show I unto you a more excellent way. Now, I think it's in the next chapter. Let me see. Salakia. Let me pull it up. Covet. I don't even think I spelled that right. Covet to prophesy. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. 1 Corinthians 14 and 39. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy. Covet to prophecy. And forbid not to speak with languages. That's what tongues means, different languages. Let all things be done decently and in order. Now this goes back to Moses and Aaron. One of them was receiving and the other one was speaking. And Yahawashi even said, let one speak and the other stand by to interpret. Right? So you have one speaker. Okay? But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Don't waste your time. And you see this with people that are into they're being, entrepreneurs, selling products, things like that. If someone doesn't get it, they don't try hard to make that person become an investor. They move on to the next one. They hear about 100 no's before they hear that one yes. And that was the same, what would you call it? Census, I guess you could say, for a lack of a better word right now. King Solomon did when he went amongst the people, and he said, 1 of 1,000 have I found of the men, but of the women he had found none. You see? So if people are going to be ignorant, let them be ignorant. You can't change when someone doesn't get it. You can't make it to where someone understands it. This is only going to be retained and received by those that are predestined for this to take place. Okay, so it says, wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy, and forbid not to speak with tongues. Let all things be done decently and in order. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it off right there. Okay, death to 2/3. All glory, praise, and honor to the Most High, whose name is Yahawah, in the name of His Son, which is the Savior of the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. His name is YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the nation of Yasha Okay, better known as the Great Millstone. And honors to all the sincere Akim who are pushing this in truth and in sincerity, not wavering or taking away or adding away or changing doctrine, and even because there's those guys out there, man, that mix words up. They don't understand what persecution means. They don't know what love means. They think it's rebuke. They think it's touchy-feely feelings and hugs. Hey, death to those guys, man. But to the Akim who are doing this correctly, decently, and in order, hey, shalom. And to the elect, shalom. And death to 2/3.